that was perfectly fine without respect to any immigration laws. There they were.
The Solicitor General is arguing for the Trump administration, though, that automatic citizenship should not apply to a baby whose parents are here illegally or with only temporary legal status. President Trump will address the nation tonight about Iran.
On Truth Social, President Trump writes that Iran's new regime president has just asked the United States for a ceasefire. He describes the new president as less radicalized and more intelligent than his predecessors. It's unclear who President Trump means, as President Masoud Pezeshkian has been in the job since 2024. He is considered a reformist, but subordinate to the country's religious supreme leader.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The supreme leader is new after his father was killed in the early days of Operation Epic Fury. President Trump also warning the U.S. will blast Iran into oblivion until the Strait of Hormuz is open. He also says he is considering withdrawing the U.S. from NATO over lack of support from some allies in the fight. You can hear live coverage of the president's remarks tonight, beginning at 9 Eastern at foxnewsradio.com. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect mostly cloudy skies with a brisk breeze and significantly cooler temperatures, reaching a high of 43. Tonight will bring continued cloud cover and gusty winds, along with a chance of a few showers and even a thunderstorm. Be cautious of potential ponding on roads and highways as the low dips to 40. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Hugh Hewitt is optimistic about negotiations.
Not many people putting up their hand to replace Laranjani, I think. There was a period of time in the 80s when I was in the Reagan administration when the Soviet leader would keep dying. Brezhnev died, then Andropov died, then Chernenko died, then we got Gorbachev. So maybe eventually we will get someone with whom President Trump can deal.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
For years, I've talked about Relief Factor. You've heard stories about the people who finally found real relief after trying the 3-week quick start. I'm one of those stories. My pain had become so bad that I was starting to believe that my best days were behind me. This was like 10 years ago. Relief was not in the picture until I tried Relief Factor. They are always striving to help people get out and stay out of pain. And remarkably, Relief Factor has made their already trusted formula even better. They've added premium black pepper extract because apparently that helps your body absorb the high-quality key ingredients more efficiently. So in simple terms, it helps your body get even more benefit from what you're already taking, and that matters. If you're going to take something daily, you want your body actually using as much of it as possible. So if you've been listening to me talk about Relief Factor for a while, this is your moment. Or if you're already taking it, you're now going to get the enhanced formula designed to work even smarter. Start with a 3-week quick start. It's $19.95 at relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. How will it feel to be out of pain? Relieffactor.com.
Let me ask you something. Does your garage floor look bad? Covered in salt, cracked, or stained from the winter's brutal blast? Well, I've got a fix for you so you can start enjoying your garage this spring. Contact my good friends at Level 10 Coatings. Level 10 brought my garage floor from dirty and gross to showroom, shiny new in just one day. Level 10 Coatings can do the same for you. A quick and easy fix, permanent durable solution. Guaranteed to never chip or peel. Get it done now so you can enjoy your garage this spring and summer. Schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, for $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com. Level10coatings.com or call 855-510-2628. Again, that's 855-510-2628. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
One of the most amazing and holiest weeks of the year for Christians is Holy Week, which begins on Palm Sunday, March 29th. This is the day Jesus rode a donkey into Jerusalem, and crowds waved palm branches and cheered, Hosanna, loosely a praise of save now. Just 4 days later, on Holy Thursday, Jesus and his disciples took part in their last Passover together. This Last Supper is when Jesus was betrayed and falsely convicted. The next day, Good Friday, Jesus was hung on the cross and died. John 1:29, Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. But wait, the story doesn't end here. Jesus was buried in a tomb, and on the third day he rose from the dead. That's what Easter and the Christian faith is all about. Read Isaiah 53 and John's full account of this good news, a read that will change your life forever. Fox Valley Coins will be closed on April 3rd in remembrance of Good Friday. Happy Easter from Fox Valley Coins.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
Good Wednesday morning, Wednesday of Holy Week. I'm Amy Jacobson. Jeanne Ives here, and this is The Real Story. And we're going to start with Pope Leo. Obviously, you know, he's from Dalton, but he made a comment during his homily on Palm Sunday and basically was saying that waging war is unholy.
Questo è il nostro Dio.
This is our God, Jesus, King of Peace, who rejects war, whom no one can use to justify war. He does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war, but rejects them, saying, "Even though you make many prayers, I will not listen. Your hands are full of blood."
Well, his comments have gotten a lot of press from a lot of different angles, mostly of them saying that this was a direct attack on Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, and it was all about the Iranian war. Well, you know what? I would like to say, though, you know, the Pope probably knows better. After all, he's an Augustinian of the Augustinian order, and St. Augustine wrote about just war. And we know also that his own father, Paul Kanger, writing in the American Spectre, writes, "To be sure, this Pope understands that nations, including his own, go to war. The Holy Father's own father went to war in 1942. Louis Marius Prevost, who grew up in Chicago's Hyde Park area, applied to the U.S. Navy's V-7 accelerated training program. He was accepted and received his commission. The 5'5", 140-pound son of Italian and French immigrants saluted the flag and did his duty. He served as an infantry landing craft on an infantry landing craft at Normandy on June 6, 1944. Yes, D-Day. The 23-year-old Prevost served aboard the LST-286, which was tasked to the hellacious Omaha Beach invasion.
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
You're going to hear this story only here.
From there, Prevost went on to command a landing craft infantry vessel operating in the Mediterranean. After war, he remained an officer in the Naval Reserve until 1956. So the current Holy Father's father knew that boats and planes alike can be instruments of war as well as peace.
312-642-5600. You could reach us, call us, or you can text us at the same phone line, because we'd love to hear from you, because this is not a time that I don't know if he was taken out of context or if this was just, you know, who's supporting the Pope in this statement, basically.
Right. Well, Marco Rubio weighed in again last night on Sean Hannity's program about why now, why take out the Iranians, why we are waging war. And by the way, it is a very targeted operation. It is not carpet bombing like you saw in World War II. That has been essentially banned by Geneva Convention. But here's Marco Rubio about why we need to be doing this. And this is important for people to hear ahead of President Trump's address to the nation tonight.
Yep, at 8 o'clock our time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, he's going to give America an update on the Iranian war.
And here's Marco Rubio's perspective from last night.
Part of the tipping point is the fact that Iran's been doing this for 47 years. We know what this regime is all about. I always say Iran, let me be clear, I'm not talking about the people of Iran. The people of Iran don't even like this government or this regime. This is a regime that is led by radical Shia clerics, by people who believe that it is their calling. I know this sounds fantastical, but it's absolutely true. This is a regime led by people who believe that it is their calling and their purpose in life to usher in the end of the world. These people want nuclear weapons. Why do we know know that because they are assembling all the things you need for nuclear weapons. They're assembling long-range rockets that can eventually reach the United States, can already range Europe. We saw them demonstrate 2 of them last week, despite denying that they had them. They enriched uranium to 60%. As you pointed out a moment ago, from 60 to 90%, which is what you need for a bomb, takes 12 to 14 days. They bragged about still having that. They demand the right to enrich, which is how you get from 60 to 90%. They're the leading sponsor of terrorism, not in the region, in the world. They can never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, which is what President Trump made very clear from the very first day of his presidency. In fact, from the very first day of his candidacy. When he came down that escalator in 2015, he talked about this. He's actually been talking about the threat of Iran before he was even a political candidate. And as president, he was not going to allow Iran to pose a threat to Americans now or future generations of Americans. So we had to act, and with very clear purpose. We are going to destroy their Air Force. We have largely done that. We were going to destroy their Navy, which we have largely achieved that. We were going to destroy a significant percentage of their missile launchers. We are well on our way to achieving that. And we were going to wipe out their defense industrial base, meaning the factories that make the drones and the missiles. We are on our way to doing that. Those were our 4 objectives because those are the 4 things they were going to hide behind to then develop a nuclear weapon and threaten the world if they tried to do anything about it. That was not going to happen under President Trump. We are well on our way. We are on or ahead of schedule on each of those 4 objectives, and we can see the finish line. It's not today, it's not tomorrow, but it is coming. We are going to get to the point where our military will have achieved all of its objectives in this mission, and they're doing so with extraordinary efficiency, something that I think will go down in history as one of the best run tactical military operations in modern times.
Does everybody understand that? He called it tactical military operations. That's a targeted level of operations. While it's strategic and operational, what we're using are tactical weapons to take out specific areas.
Right. And then this morning, though, they bombed part of the Kuwait International Airport. Iran did, and then took down another oil tanker in the Straits of Hormuz.
So they don't intend on stopping. They intend on continuing to wage war. And this has, again, been a battle that's been going on for 47 years. But even more specifically, Trump has tried repeatedly to arrest the situation from, actually, we've tried many times to arrest the situation. I just think it's interesting if you read from the Catechism, because we have the Catechism of the Catholic Church. It's a big volume, and you can literally go to nearly any topic and you can find out what's the church perspective on this. So I went to the Catechism
and
on avoiding war.
Put that copy back on my desk, by the way. I'm Catholic light. I'm Episcopalian, but okay.
That's okay. I mean, on avoiding war, section 2307. Literally, it's by section.
Oh my!
It's by section. It's here.
So then we can find out about gay marriage too.
You can find out about all of it.
Okay,
absolutely. Nearly any topic that you want.
All right.
Section 2307. The 5th commandment forbids the intentional destruction of human life. Because of the evils and injustices that accompany all war, the church insistently urges everyone to prayer and to action so that the divine goodness may free us from the ancient bondage of war. No problem there. Section 2308. All citizens and all governments are obliged to work for the avoidance of war. What have we done? We did the first Iranian agreement with Obama. Then we had Trump come in and dismantle that because it wasn't working. And then we've had negotiations. Well, then Biden unleashed, Iran, and they didn't do anything. They just continued to enrich uranium. Then we have Trump come back in. How many diplomatic missions? How many extra time? Hey, I'm going to give you 10 more days before I bomb Karg Island and take over your energy resources. As he's given them every opportunity to avoid war, including in that section. However, as long as the danger of war persists and there is no international authority with the necessary competence and power, governments cannot be denied the right of lawful self-defense once all peace efforts have failed. And then they have 4 principles when it comes to deciding on the gravity of going to war. You have to consider, should consider the damage inflicted by the aggressor on the nation or community of nations must be lasting, grave, and certain. Does anybody think that Iran was going to change their tune?
No. And sometimes, Jeannie, you can't reason with crazy.
No.
I always say that. 312-642-5600. Let's go to Mitchell in Des Plaines, you're on The Real Story. Good morning, Mitchell.
Good morning, guys. I don't know if you know this or not, but, that thing called the Spanish Inquisition, it ran 3 centuries, 1478 to 1834. And in the name of Christ, I hate you for 3 decades. That doesn't exactly say I love you. I love you, but if you love me back, I'm going to kill you. Second of all, the strikes against Iran is not a conventional war. It's not a war. It's a conflict. It's not like Vietnam or World War I or World War II or even Korea. This is not a conventional. For those that don't understand the definition, this is why they're vapid-minded. And these are strategic strikes going back 47 years when Iran decided to take our hostages, and Jimmy Carter, who was really what I call feckless, decided to basically screw the entire mission up. So let's get it straight, folks. Hopefully we'll see a big turnaround. As you can see, the market's turning around. I pay close attention to that. Pay close attention to Jerome Powell. And I'll have you know, folks, that it's a full moon today in Libra, so let's just leave it at that.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Thanks, Mitchell.
Thanks, Mitchell. Appreciate you.
Just quickly, 3 other principles. All other means of putting an end to a war must have been shown to be impractical and ineffective. Okay, check mark. There must be serious prospects of success, check mark. The use of arms must not produce evils and disorders graver than the evil to be eliminated, check mark.
Check mark, yeah. So, thank you for that, because people aren't discussing it and they don't care. But you know what? People are starting to care more and more now because the gas prices are going up. And we've had the highest gas prices right now that we've had since 2022. And what I think Pritzker should do to help Illinoisans, if he really cares about his people, he, the king, should suspend the gas tax. That's what the governor of Georgia just did to help alleviate the pain at the pump for his people. So he should do that here, because it would be 40 cents less. Well, can you imagine?
He would prefer to use it as a cudgel against Trump. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he probably wants the gas prices to go up and up $6, $7, $8.
Absolutely. He doesn't care.
All right, coming up on The Real Story, saving Pope Leo's Boyhood parish. That's in the works. We'll explain when we get back.
You're listening to The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
In his new movie, The Dragon's Prophecy, Dinesh D'Souza brings the new Middle East into focus.
Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
At long last, we have peace in the Middle East.
Israel and Christians are coming together in a way they have never been before.
But is this the end of Hamas and radical Islam? The Dragon's Prophecy is powerful, prophetic, a must-see movie. Now available on Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only 2 good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551. 1551.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, welcome back to The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson. We're talking about the Pope and the new Pope Mobile.
Well, I got to tell you, I think my Ford Explorer is, just accelerated in popularity. Thank you, Chicago Tribune, for writing this article, because nobody else did, and I really do appreciate some of your work some of the time.
Wow.
They published this report a few weeks ago, and I missed it until I was looking up some information about the Pope. But Ford's Chicago assembly plant built a custom Pope Mobile for Pope Leo XIV. Ford CEO Jim Farley recently delivered a made-in-Chicago Pope Mobile to Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican, giving the made-in-Chicago pontiff a taste of home with a custom 2026 Ford Explorer Platinum. I don't have the Platinum.
You don't?
No.
What kind do you have?
Just your regular, used Ford Explorer that I got from my brother-in-law who sells Fords. But anyway.
Well, maybe they'll make some knockoffs and we can drive around in a Pope Mobile.
Oh, that'd be
I
fun.
could trade in my hobo ride minivan for a Pope Mobile and put just as much stuff in.
You should upgrade.
But it's a black hybrid
You don't have
SUV
kids anymore. You can upgrade, Amy.
Yeah. No, but I've got dogs and volleyball equipment that I have to lug around. So yes.
Well, it also came with vanity license plates with Da Pope and Leo XIV. The Ford includes a picture of the Chicago assembly plant team, handwritten letters from employees, and also there presumably was an empty Aurelio's pizza box from one of the Pope's favorite hometown restaurants in there.
Why wasn't the pizza? It was an empty pizza box.
I don't know. I just think this is great, though. But apparently Farley and his wife traveled to the Vatican to deliver the keys to the Pope. It was a gift from the couple. Wow. They even took it out for a spin, tooling around the Vatican grounds in the Chicago-built ride, putting the 3.3-liter V6 hybrid Explorer through its paces.
That's awesome.
Apparently, he noticed and appreciated the personal touches, details like the Chicago skyline stitching and the Chicago flag seat tags. We even took it for a quick drive, and I can confirm the Holy Father enjoys driving a sporty ride.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great?
Oh, I love it.
It's such a great story. Well, anyway, there's a lot going on this Easter week, and that's why I wanted to kind of focus on what's happening in terms of Pope Leo, who is our hometown guy now. And here to talk about preserving the Pope's legacy home, and not just his home, but also his parish, is Vince Colbert. He is the chairman and the founder of the Pope Leo XIV American Legacy Foundation, and he joins us right now to tell us more about that. Thanks so much, Vince, for coming on The Real Story.
It's great to be here, and that's such an interesting segue into the whole story about the Pope's boyhood home in the village of Dalton and his boyhood parish, St. Mary of the Assumption, which is actually in the most southern, just above the southernmost property line of the city of Chicago, roughly a half a mile from the boyhood home. So in July, I had invited Anthony Pizzo, who's the provincial of the Augustinians in the Midwest, to visit the boyhood home. I hadn't met Father Pizzo, but we walked up to the steps, and he said, "This is the second time I've been here." And I asked him, I said, I was thinking, well, he must have driven by since the election. No, he said, I was last here 45 years ago. Why? Because Robert Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV, and Anthony Pizzo went to Villanova together, and they used to drive from Chicago to Villanova. And why? Because Robert Prevost liked to drive. And so it's a perfect segue, and it's so interesting, the story that you just told about him, and that he got right in that car and drove it around, because he likes to drive. That we know.
I wonder if he went incognito, down to his favorite place to get gelato or something.
Probably not. His security's tight.
Yeah.
The Swiss guards over there. So wait, let's talk, before we get to his trying to save his parish, how was his home saved?
Okay, well, so what happened was that right before the election, it happened that the home was acquired by a developer who completely rehabbed the home. And the moment that the election occurred, he had it on the market, and he decided to hold an auction, hoping that he would, get 3 or 4 times the value, the $300,000 to $400,000 that he had into it. And what happened was that Mayor Jason House of the village made ultimately an arrangement with him to acquire the house at a fair market number, less than $400,000. He was able to get a loan. The village is broke. There are a lot of disgruntled creditors who were trying to, maybe stop the transaction, but it has happened, and the village of Dalton now owns the house, and they have formed a commission to look after it. I'm actually on the commission, and pilgrimage groups that come in by the busload periodically, if they contact the village, are given an opportunity to go to the home and walk through it.
Well, they're charged, right? I mean, you're charging a fee, right, to walk through the home?
Hardly anything.
Well, what are we talking?
Well, they have a modest tax that is imposed upon the tour operator, and I can just say it's de minimis. It isn't even consequential to someone who maybe signs up to a tour bus and, pays whatever they pay to the tour bus operator to drive down there. It's just inconsequential. So there you go. And they get a lot of people just visiting in the area. They do drive by the house, and it's on a little side street, and that situation is something that the town is seeking to better manage over time. And then they will drive by the St. Mary of the Assumption, which still stands, but is in danger of collapsing. And the parish campus, which has 140,000 square feet of dilapidated buildings on 3.5 acres, and that is a separate matter, and it's in the city of Chicago. So there are dynamics operating around that are completely unpredictable, up in the air, and it's anyone's guess as to how all that's going to play out. But I will tell you that through the offices of Preservation Chicago, which has named the St. Mary of the Assumption Church as one of 7 of the most endangered historical sites in the city of Chicago, that group run by Ward Miller, he has connected me with the owner of the property, Joe Hall, and we have had numerous discussions and a couple of volleys of written ideas as to what may or may not happen on that in that situation.
Vince, I am so sorry. We have to let you go. We have a hard break at the end of the half hour. I wish we had planned for more time. We'll
have them back.
Yeah, definitely. We want to talk more about this. Of course, the St. Mary of the Assumption Church is where Pope Leo XIV once served as an altar boy. It's so important, the work you're doing. God bless you, Vince Colber. And where can people get more information?
Well, there's a paucity of it right now. Stay attention to the news, and I think in due course, the village will have a website. My Pope Leo American Legacy Foundation will have a website, hopefully in the near future, and there'll be more ready information. And the Village of Dalton. The Village of Dalton, if you contact the village, you're a tour bus operator, you can make an arrangement to see the Boyhood home.
All right. Thanks, Vincent. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
News. I'm Gianna Gelosi. President Trump attending arguments at the Supreme Court that are challenging his executive order that seeks to bar birthright citizenship to kids of undocumented immigrants or temporary residents. U.S. Solicitor General John Sauer for the Trump administration interpreting the 14th Amendment.
The clause thus does not extend citizenship to the children of temporary visa holders or illegal aliens. Unlike the newly freed slaves, those visitors lack direct and immediate allegiance to the United States.
Justice Alina Kagan.
The text of the clause, I think, does not support you. I think you're sort of looking for some more technical, esoteric meaning.
The ruling is not expected until early this summer. President Trump is set to address the nation at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with an update on Iran. Earlier on Truth Social, he claimed the regime was asking the U.S. for a ceasefire. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon will bring mostly cloudy skies with breezy conditions and a significant drop in temperatures. The high will reach 43 degrees. Tonight, expect cloudy skies and continued breeziness, along with a chance of a few showers and a thunderstorm. Be cautious of potential ponding on streets and highways. The low will be around 40 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Software developers, Naperville, Illinois, and various unanticipated locations throughout the U.S. Analyze business requirements and design. Develop web applications using .NET Core, C#, Kotlin, Vue.js, React, Native, MongoDB, AWS DynamoDB, Azure APIs, Azure API Management, and SignalR. Develop N-tier .NET applications using ASP.NET MVC, Web API, and Azure Services. Migrate applications from .NET Framework to .NET 6.0. Conduct unit integration, performance, and system testing. Monitor logs using Azure Monitor APIs and debug issues. Bachelor's degree in science, computer science, technology, or any engineering is required. Salary $85,467 per year. Email resume to HR Edify Technologies Incorporated at job@edifytech.com.
All right. You know, I don't push products I don't believe in, so listen up because this one I love and recommend to friends and listeners. It's Virago Liquid Immune Support. I spoke with Dr. Huber, the creator of Virago, and let me tell you, this man knows immune health like nobody's business. He explained to me the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body fights back against viruses, disease, inflammation, all of it. That's why he created Virago. It's a liquid immune boosting supplement packed with 23 powerful ingredients working together in synergy. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even protects your heart, kidneys, and liver. Try it out. Give it 1 week and see if you've noticed a difference. I know that I did. It's a liquid, folks, so your body absorbs it quickly. And you can mix Virago with smoothies, with orange juice, and you can feel the difference, and I know you will because I have. Order your bottle of Virago today at myvirago.com. That's myVIROGO.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. That's myvirago.com. Coupon code IMMUNE.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174.
AM 560, The Answer.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Oh, you know what that song means? Watchdog Wednesday. And today, we're going to talk about election machines. Oh, are they safe? Are they not?
I don't know, Amy.
When I go to vote, I always hate voting because I always think it's fraudulent. I don't know why. There's something, I'm an intuitive person. I always think, now, if I put my ballot in that box, is it really going to be counted? Because they know that during the primary, I pulled a Republican ballot, so they don't like that.
Well, if the Republicans
judges
win, you're going to have the Democrats say that there was election fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Something was awry. Trump had his, cyber people in there manipulating the vote. But wait till you hear this story from John Kraft about what happened in Madison County. John, Kirk, thanks so much for joining us on The Real Story.
Thanks for having us.
You'll never, after you hear this, I'm sorry, folks, you cannot trust the elections. You can't. We need paper ballots day of voting. Unless you're military or really sick and disabled, go ahead. Then maybe still a paper ballot that's mailed in under very strict requirements. John, tell us the story about what happened in Madison County.
Well, it's just a simple clerical format irregularity in the voting software.
Oh, that's
it? Okay.
Hey, that's what the clerk said.
Do explain.
So the Long Lake Fire Protection District had two tax rate increase referendum on the ballot for tax levies. So one was to increase the district's tax rate from 0.3 to 0.4%. And another one was to have another separate tax capped at 0.4% to fund their ambulance service. So one fire protection district wanted a new levy and an increase in an existing levy. That should raise questions right there. But
exactly. Not to mention, you should just vote against this stuff because it's a property tax increase. But go ahead.
Within a day or two of the election on the 17th of March, people were sending us photocopies, pictures of their ballots that they filled out, and where they checked no on both referenda, and the vote count that came when they tallied the votes, the one tax rate increase had a vote count of 383 yes and 2 no's, and the new tax levy had a vote of can't remember what it was.
327
to 0. So 0 no votes. But people were emailing us their pictures of the ballots that showed they did, in fact, vote no. And complaints were filed with the clerk and county board. And so the clerk decided to file a petition in the court to authorize her to recount, do a manual recount. And the very same day, the judge authorized a manual recount for both of those questions for the Long Lake Fire Protection District. And it dealt with, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 townships. So they recounted all of them and they ended up with a on the increase vote, it was 447 yes and 346 no. So they increased the yes votes and really increased the no votes. They increased the yes votes by by 60 something, and increased the no votes by 342. For the additional tax, the yes votes went from 327 to 503, which is 170 something, and the no votes went from 0 to 328. So, I've got a question that how could there be only a minor clerical error or clerical format irregularity just on 2 questions on the ballot? Wouldn't it call into question all the other votes?
Yes, for everybody else who was on that ballot. And she's claiming this was a clerical format irregularity in the voting software. I mean, it's darn near absolutely impossible that you're going to get a 383-2 vote on a property tax increase and a 327-0 vote on a second property tax increase. That's just impossible. And she called this a problem with the voting software, and then they don't think that any other race was affected? Come on.
Apparently not. They're not recounting any of the other races. If the only increases in votes were the no votes, I would kind of think that may have been a voting irregularity or a software irregularity, but they also increased the yes votes. So something's not adding up, in my mind, how they can increase both if the problem was brought up because nobody was counted on the no side.
Well, how do we make sure this doesn't happen in future elections?
The county probably needs to. I don't. Paper ballots. The county probably needs to get with a software company. I'm not even sure what ballot machines they're using, but they definitely need to iron it out. And in my opinion, they should recount everything by hand just to verify for themselves that the only error in the software was with those 2 referenda questions. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean, this is just ridiculous. By the way, Madison County is not an unsophisticated county. They have, that's in fact one of the judicial hellholes. So they sure as hell know how to manipulate things. We know that. But this does call into question a lot of other issues that deal with how elections are handled in the state. I mean, you still had, I think, 25 counties that had, what's his name on the ballot as a governor candidate in the Republican primary. That never got corrected.
All right.
Yeah. You mean the spelling of Ted's name?
No, not Ted to Tad. No, the other guy up in, forgot his name. That's how quickly you forget things. No, I mean, we have a problem here. And everybody wants to poo-poo election integrity. But no, it's a real thing. It's a real problem. John, I want to thank you so much for bringing this up.
Not a problem.
All right, let's talk to Kirk. We missed Kirk last time.
Yeah, wasn't he hunting wild boar in Texas or something like that?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
No, we just had like a phone issue.
Did you get something good?
I think that when Kirk goes out to hunt, he always bags something. Right, Kirk?
Yes, ma'am. We always put our critters down.
So you've been wanting to talk about this story for a couple weeks now. So why don't we're going to turn to another corruption story, another problem in the state of Illinois, and that's with the Illinois Department of Corrections.
Yeah, there was an OEIG, Office of Executive Inspector General report that identified all kinds of, I will say, illegal activity. Checks being written in cash so that they could give cash out at the Christmas party, $30,000, Christmas parties. So the more I dug into it, we find out now when I asked for the records, I wanted receipts for the cash. that was distributed at the party because the OIG report indicated that they had receipts. Well, DOC was unable to produce a single receipt. Their excuse was, we got rid of those records in accordance with our records policy. So I asked for the policy. What I got was a Department of Corrections form that was not signed or dated, that was a record destruction request, but nowhere in those pages did it have anything about the records I had asked for. I also asked for their request to destroy records from the state and the issued certificate the state would give them to say it's okay. They said they didn't have those records. But it's pretty ironic that, they use that as the excuse to get rid of them, but they have no records to support what they said to me. So I FOIA'd the state of Illinois, the local records commission with the Secretary of State, and they gave me the records of the requests and the destruction certificates. Neither one of them match up to show that they had permission to get rid of those records related to those Christmas parties and cash giveaways. Is anyone surprised?
I'm not surprised. And I'm not surprised that they tried to delete these records immediately. A lot of times this is sort of something that they do maybe once a year. But these people obviously were trying to cover it up as soon as you brought up how'd you spend $30,000 and where to go to, who to go to.
Yeah, they couldn't produce a single receipt, an invoice. They said there were invoices paid from the hotel. Well, they've not been able to produce a single record. They basically have denied that they have any records of anything. And I know what they tried to do. They tried to hide behind a records destruction, policy. Mm-hmm. And what they gave me was not a policy. It wasn't dated. It wasn't signed. And there's no such thing as a quote unquote policy. There's a permission and certificate of permission that's given along with a schedule that's given from the state. And I looked through all of those pages, and those cash receipts and those hotel invoices are not anywhere on there giving them permission to get rid of it. And the sad part is this is one of those weaknesses in the system. Nobody will get held accountable. I've even, when I wrote the article, I've had people that left comments, nobody cares. It's DOC. Nobody cares. Well, if we're back to the broken window issue. If we don't fix the small stuff, it just grows out of control. Nobody cares about $30,000 Christmas parties with zero accountability?
I guess not. And certainly you're not going to get, the Attorney General to look into this, or even probably a state rep. They're not going to bring this up in committee when, Department of Corrections is sitting there asking for their budget for the year. Well, what happened to the $30,000? Do you always spend $30,000 on Christmas party for one? And this isn't the all of
Who has
IDOC.
Christmas parties anymore?
Or did they call it a holiday party too? By the way,
that's right.
Well, actually, the OEIG report did call it a Christmas party, but that was just the Springfield office.
Well, how many Christmas parties did they have?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've got 17 or 18 Department of Correction facilities, and the report outlined 4 of them that had Christmas parties, which was only a small percentage of what they investigated. I think if they'd ask, I bet if we were to ask all of them, across the board, I'll bet all of them had those same parties.
Yeah, but again, this is a state run by Governor Pritzker, and quite frankly, even probably Governor Rauner, Governor Quinn. This probably goes out decades. Nobody ever pays attention to this, Kirk. You guys are just stirring the pot. Why can't you just be happy and go hunting in Central Illinois and forget about all this? What does it matter? It's only $30,000.
And when everybody wants to say it's political, well, this action that took place was under the Rauner administration. Mm-hmm. The OEIG report was finalized on Rauner's way out, and it was left to Pritzker to take disciplinary action if he deemed it necessary. Well, one of the key culprits involved in it, he was an appointed administrator from Rauner. He ends up getting a full-time job with DOC because, the change of administration, he would be out of a job. So he ends up with a full-time job, and there's no discipline whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Thanks for staying on it. I mean, just think about all the work that you had to do. You FOIA'd them. You had to FOIA the state. You had to connect the dots. You had to, read the regulation. Nobody does the work that you guys do. That's why I appreciate you. And thanks for coming on this week. You'll have more to report next week, I'm sure. There's never a lack of corruption stories in this state, Amy.
Nope. All right. Thanks, Kirk, and thanks, John. Appreciate it. All right. Coming up on The Real Story, the NBA needs Jesus. And what exactly happened in the Millennium Park garage early in the morning? We'll explain.
Don't believe the official narrative? You've got The Real Story on AM 560. The Answer.
I spent years in the Marine Corps learning discipline, attention to detail, and how to do the job right. I'm Jim Melchert, and these standards stayed with me when I founded Garage Store here in Chicagoland. Your garage is probably the most neglected part of the house. Cracked floors, clutter everywhere, and a lot of wasted space. Garage Store provides solutions for that. Built for Chicago weather, our beautiful, durable floor coatings can be installed in just 2 days. We also install heavy-duty cabinets, overhead storage, even vehicle lifts. From floor to ceiling, your garage will be transformed into a space you'll be proud of and a space your friends will envy. Plus, our in-house, professional, respectful crew delivers timely installs. See why thousands of Chicagoans are transforming their garages with Garage Store.
Schedule your free in-home garage makeover estimate today. Call 847-428-8862 or visit garage-store.com. That's garage-store.com. Garage Store, built on service, driven by quality.
What happens when a school is truly built around teenage girls? Their growth, their confidence, their faith, their future? You get bold young women who lead without hesitation, speak without fear, and discover exactly who they're meant to be. Rosary College Prep in Aurora is the only all-girls college prep high school in the western suburbs, and we've been doing this since 1962. We know how girls learn best. That's why our students thrive in STEM, the arts, and leadership at remarkable rates, even earning AP Platinum status from the College Board. At Rosary, your daughter won't just be educated. She'll be seen, challenged, and supported every single day. Girls here collaborate, inspire each other, and grow grounded in faith and driven by purpose. Come see it for yourself. Schedule a personal tour at rosaryprep.org. That's rosaryprep.org.
AM 560. The Answer.
Okay. Can everybody just relax? Welcome back to The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobs.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I tweeted out a picture of the new and improved Darren Bailey. I know, and this is what I wrote. What happened to Darren Bailey? New glasses and orange hair? Question mark. The next thing you know, he'll have contacts, meaning contact lenses. Okay. Just, I mean, people, some of the responses, I mean, some are funny, like, did he use Sun-In? That was good. Another one, he's losing weight for sure. Is he using Ozempic or Wegovy? I mean, there's somebody, he's morphing into Trump. But then one person was like, easy, leave him alone. How dare you? He lost family members in a plane crash. So zip it up. You've had a ton of facial work done, and we still listen to you.
That's
very very unbecoming of you. It's just, I understand. And I feel for Darren Bailey and what he is going through. And I mean, I can't even imagine the surviving grandson. And the surviving grandson just lost his mother's father. I mean, it's awful. Okay, but line up, because even Darren Bailey had a funny response. He's like, new glasses, check. Orange hair, just the lighting. So they were saying it was the lighting. He did an interview with somebody, some outlet. But he does look completely different. That is a 2-week transformation that I've never seen before.
Well, there's been a 2-week transformation to his political campaign account as well.
What's going on?
Well, in 2 weeks, unfortunately, post-primaries only raised $6,000 from 4 donors.
People make more selling cookies for Girl Scouts.
I'm telling you right now, you spend that plus every single day of a actual active campaign. So, but he needs to be like not stop with the touring of Chicago and start dialing for dollars or doing something. Everybody's kind of onto it. It's kind of sad, honestly. Chicago Magazine betting on a losing horse named Bailey. And
that's the title, betting on a losing horse.
Yeah, and they kind of go after the Republicans for voting for them. But they explain, look, they explain that essentially the electric has shifted. Downstate cast 40% of the vote in the Republican primaries in 2002. while the color counties cast 35%. This year, downstate cast 58% of the Republican primary vote. That shift in the party's center of gravity makes it inevitable that the Republican nominee will reflect downstate values, and Bailey is a downstate guy, and that is all true. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you can win a general election. As much as he is trying, he is out there trying, he's got to raise a lot more money in order to get his message out.
But he needs to have a message. He needs to be anti-Safety Act, anti-sanctuary state.
He is. They don't hear it. They don't hear it.
But again, somebody, we know this weekend, somebody somewhere is going to be killed by someone who's here illegally. May not be in Illinois, but in probably another sanctuary state, which is sad and sickening, but it's true. And when it happens in your home state of Illinois, in Chicago, where you're trying to garner Republican votes, have a press conference. Be proactive. Come out and slam Pritzker. Say Pritzker has blood on his hands again because of sanctuary state and because of the Safety Act. Because he was arrested twice before and released, this Medina.
And Steve Cortez showed up at the site where Sheridan Gorman lost her life. He showed up there to talk about it, put out a video about it and discuss it. I have not seen Darren do that yet, and he really should. So
who's running his campaign?
You don't even want to know.
It was that dude in those crazy glasses last time with that. But remember that he looked like a gangster. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think it's him.
I can't remember that.
Probably Jose Durbin, who has no idea what he's doing at all. So,
all right, let's take a few phone calls. 312-642-5600. Let's go to David in LaGrange. You're on The Real Story. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Before I get serious, you know it costs to go see the Pope's childhood home?
No.
The cost of a cup of coffee a day. So anyway, here's where I'm gonna get serious. If I can I'm not sure Darren Bailey is ever going to be the solution, but for goodness sake, how about he takes some voice lessons to knock that Southern draw down a little bit, because I don't think it works well with Chicago voters. And Jeannie, I remember a couple of years ago, you were it was election night, and you lamented on the radio on WIND about what are these voters thinking. And you know what they're thinking is that people like Darren Bailey and people like the candidates we've had recently, that they don't go to the west side, they don't go to the south side, they don't realize that there are so many Hispanic and black voters that are so tired with the Democrats. And you know what we have to do? We have to finally say, this is not the party of Edgar and Thompson and Al Salvi and people like Erica Kirk and Jack Ryan that we stomped on. This is why we don't have Republicans that come forward that are really good candidates.
David, thanks for your comment. Yeah, no, I appreciate what you're saying. I get it. But listen, there's been a lot of outreach to the blacks on the west side, on the south side, the Hispanic coalitions. Ted had a big guy who was working within the Hispanic and the ethnic communities on his team, even before the primary, trying to involve them and get them going, because we know that the Hispanic population is largely conservative socially, and we needed those votes. So there has been outreach. It's never enough, honestly. And I'm telling you again, the problem here in the state of Illinois is that the unions control the vote. And until people stop voting the way the unions ask them to, we're never going to get change.
Thanks, David, for the phone call. Thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful day. God bless, and God bless America.
Let's go! Don't get stuck